All right, hopefully I have my camera set up okay so that you can hear me. You can at least see a silhouette. You might not see direct light on me because where the sun is behind me right now, but hopefully that doesn't mess up your practice too badly or gives you an opportunity to just tune into listening versus watching, and that can offer you a different yoga experience altogether. So thanks for coming to Active Yoga Basics. My name is Kristen, and we're going to start this class standing, building our foundational posture, Tadasana, mountain pose. So start by looking down at your feet. Separate your feet about hip width distance. If you're not sure what that means in your body, take two fists next to each other, approximately place them in between the two big toes. You can fold all the way down for that measurement, great. If not, that's okay. You can just kind of be approximate with it and go from there. All right, so a lot of times when we set up, we want to make sure that our feet are not wider than our hips unless we are accommodating for some different phases of our life. And if you are that person, then you already know that that's what you should be doing for your body. So heels and hips pretty much lined up, and your hips are the hip bones, not the exterior of the hips, right? So look down at your feet, lift up all your toes, spread them out as wide as you can, and place them back down on your mat or your floor. From here, begin to shift the weight towards the toes, lifting up your heels. You can engage the thighs and the calves here. You can use a wall for support. And then bring the heels down and try lifting up the toes. Maybe you lift up one foot, then the other. See where your balance is today. And then weight towards your toes, lift your heels. Now try to engage your core and lift a little higher. And then bring the heels down, lifting up the toes. So rocking forwards and backwards. Notice how the feet feel this morning, how your legs feel. And then begin to add a little movement side to side as well. So rolling to the outer edge of one foot and then the other. And you're just going as slow or as fast as it feels good for you, but don't go too fast. You want to be able to slowly stretch these muscles to open. If it feels good, you could shift a little weight towards the big toe mounds. Just mindful of your knee. You don't want to turn your knee inwards here. Just stay in the natural range of motion. And if anything tells you something like, ow, or that was odd, maybe you just back out of that shape and you don't worry about it. All right, so bring all these moves together, forwards, backwards, left to right. Begin to settle. Lift up all your toes again. See if you can spread them out a little wider and place them back down on your mat. Press down through the big toe mounds and then shift your weight back to the outer edges of your heels. Still pressing those big toe mounds down. You feel the outer edges of your heels. Hold that and then press down from the little toe mounds. You might feel the calf and thigh muscles shift. So you're feeling the four corners of both feet, now shifting the weight towards the inner toe mounds. So big toe mounds, outer edges of the heels. Little toe mounds, inner edges of the heels. Sometimes this is referred to as an X below the feet. From here, put a little awkward bend in your knees, like you're just about to sit down, and then stop there. Feel the lower back soften. You might feel this being the pelvis tilting down just a little bit. And then we pull the lower belly in and up, belly button towards the spine. Then lift the ribs up away from your hips and arms down by your sides with your palms forward. So sometimes in yoga, we get really exaggerated with our movements and we want to hold the arms out and hold them really strong and steady still. But for this class, we just want to go with what's going on naturally in the body. So you can roll the shoulders up and back a few times, let them settle, and let the palms just face forward naturally. For some of us, that's not even possible, and the arms have to be by our sides. That's okay. All right, so what's going on with that awkward bend in your knees? Hold your core engagement, keep your shoulders down, and begin to engage the thighs to straighten your legs. This allows you to stand up tall and in alignment with what's going on in your body. Bring the line of your jaw back a little bit. This could mean you take your finger to your chin and press back a little bit. And stand a little bit taller on your inhale. Feel a little more grounded on your exhale. If it's a part of your practice, palms together at the center of your chest. Allow your eyes to close and take a moment to create an intention for your practice. And take a deep breath in. And a slow breath out. Opening up your eyes, interlace your fingers and place them underneath your chin. Hold all the principles of mountain pose. So that first shape we just did, you're still holding all of that vertical alignment. Your hands stay underneath the chin the entire time. Take a look up at the ceiling, tilting your head back. Then create a loud ha sound, drawing your elbows together, just like this. On your inhale, level your chin, lift up your elbows, keep your shoulders down. Exhale, head back, loud ha sound. Get the old air out and squeeze your elbows in. Inhale, level your chin, lift up your elbows. Exhale, head back. From your core, inhale. Elbows lift, shoulders stay down. Exhale, squeeze the old air out. 2 more, inhale. See if you can lift the elbows a little bit higher. Exhale, head back. And last one, inhale. From your core, take in an extra sip, lift the elbows a little higher. Exhale, head back. Arms down by your side. Shake it out if you like to. I like to do a couple shoulder rolls there. With your inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Interlace your fingers. Release your index finger. Cross your thumbs. You'll lose my arms in the frame, so I'm just showing you real quick. Interlacing the fingers, releasing the index finger. Arms up overhead. You could bring your feet towards each other or keep them as they are. What you're looking for is no pain or discomfort in your lower back. If you need more stabilization here, you put a block in between the thighs or in between the feet. Keep your core engaged and just move a little bit side to side. Sometimes your back might pop a little bit here, not really anything to be too concerned about. For me, this is a great way to realign my spine when some things are out. And if this feels good side to side, you feel pretty confident that you can move in other directions. Begin to stretch the body forwards and backwards. And when I say backwards, I don't mean into a humongous back bend. I just mean a little bit of a curve to lift up the chest and to be able to pull the shoulders back. You may need to add support there with the hands at the lower back instead of the arms extended overhead. All right. If you're reaching forward, keep that core engaged, squeeze the thighs, and you might take one hip back and the other. You can do all of this with the hands much closer to your body, right? So little circles around the waist if that feels good. And we'll meet back at our centers. Big toes touch if you can. Inhale, lengthen up. With your exhale, stretch up and over to your right. So feel the 4 corners of both of your feet. Pull in from the core, pelvic floor lifts, ribs lift, shoulders stay down. If you have the grip with your palms, you're squeezing and maybe drawing the shoulders back. Make sure you don't reach your head forward if that's what you choose. Take a deep breath in, find a little more space. And with your exhale, reach a little bit further. Core stays engaged. Inhale back to your center. Wiggle it out if you need to realign. With your inhale, lengthen up. Exhale and stretch over to your left. So ground from the feet. Draw in and up from the core. Notice the shoulders here, especially if you're tired. You'll just start to lean forward. Your hips might begin to go in a different direction than your shoulders. So maybe you check out your alignment in a mirror sometime. Wherever you are, use your inhale to lift your chest. Exhale to reach. Inhale back to your center. Exhale, arms down by your sides. Okay, so a little supported back bend here. Separating the feet back to hip width distance, possibly a little bit wider. Take your hands to your lower back, fingertips down like you're about to go into some back pockets. Elbows squeeze in towards each other. Like if you could get your elbows to touch each other, right? I've seen a couple of people be able to do that, but try not to hold that as an expectation of yourself because that's really extreme. Take a deep breath in and lift your chest. With your exhale from your core engagement, engage your glutes and shift your hips forward. Press your hands into your lower back and shift your weight back into your heels. Lifting up the chest, elbows in. With your exhale, shift the hips a little more forward. Keep the weight in your heels. Inhale, back up. Exhale, back to your mountain pose. All right, so I'm walking to the top of my mat, and I have 2 blocks set up there. They'll eventually go to either side of my mat once we are in a forward fold. So if you don't have those things, try to get something similar going for you, and it will help you in the rest of this practice. With your inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold, however you want to get there. Take your time. Once you're in your fold, grab for opposite elbows and let your head hang heavy. You can wiggle around a little bit. When you move a little bit side to side, sometimes it opens up some space in the rib and the tummy area, and it will let you fold deeper. So try it out. Your hands could be in a different place if that was more comfortable for you. It's okay for the shoulders to come forward here, and it's okay to tuck your chin to give yourself some more space or to just move your head around. You could shift your weight towards your toes and back into your heels. Just whatever feels good. That might offer a slight challenge. You can stay here or add a shoulder opener, hands at the lower back, interlace the fingers, knuckles up. This could be enough. Move into your range of motion. So my range of motion lets my arms go this far back, but I've been doing this a long time, so I don't have to do much to get here. If you try to do this and you're not used to it, you could easily injure yourself for the rest of your life. So use something like a pillow, a block, maybe a scarf or an old belt. Maybe you have an official yoga strap. That would be fine too. Weight towards your toes in this one. Spin your thighs inwards to help you lift up your hips. Take a big breath in. Now with your, exhale, bring your hands down towards the floor, or you could use blocks here if you needed some more space. Hips down to your heels, chin to your chest, working into just a little ball shape or some sort of rounded shape. Elbows are in, shoulders are back. And then look up, look a little forward and lift and lower your heels now. So we're just trying to stretch out the feet a little bit more. If we have hip issues, back problems, a lot of times that tightness can just come from some imbalances in the feet. So if we can stretch our feet out, maybe we can alleviate some of those tight muscles running up through the rest of that chain up the rest of the body, the spinal column. Okay, so come back to your fold. Feet about hip width distance. Remember, 2 fists next to each other if you need to check in. I check in every class because I'm usually always a little bit off. All right, so take one of those blocks out in front of you, place your right hand on top, and when you go to lean forward and lift the chest, just make sure that the wrist, elbow, shoulders all lined up. It's okay if you have a bend in your elbow, no problem. Keep your hand flat or create a fist or pop up to your fingertips. You have tons of options here. Bend both knees, then bend your right knee more. Engage your core with your inhale twist. Left arm reaches up. Left arm doesn't have to reach up, right? You can do lots of other things. And could be at the lower back, could be in a half bind, could be reaching overhead if you wanted something different, right? Could be at hands at heart center. What you want to make sure you're doing is not sinking down into the right side. So lift up, lengthen. If you have the left arm up, bring the shoulder away from your ear. You're going to feel this press the chest forward and up. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, back to your fold. Left hand down, shift forward, weight towards the toes. Adjust for whatever you need. Maybe you need to stack the blocks and use 2 blocks on this side, right? It doesn't mean you're not going to get the same great twist. It's just you might be accessing that part of your body differently to be able to get that twist. So bend both knees, bend the left knee more. With your inhale, twist, right arm reaches up, or half binds, or hangs out at your lower back, overhead by your ear, heart center. You always have options. Bringing the chest up, left shoulder under, Right shoulder away from your ear. Take a big breath in. Exhale, back to your forward fold. Now both blocks set up towards the top of your mat. Think about hands underneath your shoulders. Inhale, lift halfway. With your exhale, bend your knees, pick up your right foot, point your toes straight back. Core stays engaged, and then send your right foot to the back of your mat. Lower your back knee down. Just take some time to set up here. You want to feel the right hip shift forward and down. Left knee lines up with your left heel. And then flip your blocks up to give you some space. We want the chest to be lifted here. All right. So press down from the left foot and feel the left heel drag back. Don't actually move it. Just feel that muscular action. And you'll feel the left thigh fire up. Big breath in. Exhale, half splits. Flex your left foot. Take your blocks with you. We want to remain lifted in the chest here. Working through some nerve glide points and flex your left foot. Point those toes away from your body. Maybe you can squeeze the left thigh, isolate that muscle and just feel it. And then flex your left foot. Point your toes. Flex your foot. Point your toes. And then last time, flex your foot, holding it there. With your inhale, come back to your lunge. Feel your right hip press forward, lifting your chest. Exhale, back to your half splits. Inhale, back to your lunge. Tuck your back toes, lift your knee up off your mat. Look forward, think of lengthening the spine. Hover your right knee down. Just feel that bit of a stretch. With your inhale, lift your right leg, flex the foot like you're holding up something behind you. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, hang heavy. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, bend your knees, pick up your left foot, point your toes straight back, and then step back into your lunge. Left knee lowers. Set yourself up on this side, feel into your left hip. Blocks pretty close to underneath the shoulders to help you lift from your chest. Take a big breath in. Exhale, half splits. Flex your right foot. Flexing the right foot. Feel the back side of the leg stretch. Make sure there's nothing too tender going on in your knee. If so, you needed to put a deeper bend in your knee probably 10 minutes ago. So begin to point and flex unless it doesn't feel good. If it feels like it's hurting you, then you shouldn't do it. That's everything, right? That's not just in yoga. All right, so flex your foot, engage your core. Inhale to your lunge. Exhale to your half splits. Inhale to your lunge. Exhale, half splits and hold. Inhale to your lunge, tuck your back toes, lift your knee up off your mat. Look forward with your shoulders back. Hover your left knee down. Inhale, lift your left leg, flex your foot. Exhale, forward fold. So move your blocks out of your way. Set your feet up hip width distance and find the grip that works best for you here. So some sort of variation of a hands to feet forward fold. That could mean hands behind the back of your calves, underneath the sides of your feet, behind your ankles is a variation. Peace fingers around your big toes. Hands underneath the feet for gorilla pose, right? So there's so many options here. Do what feels best to you. Use a strap if you need some more space. With your inhale, lift up your chest. With your exhale, pull your upper body down. Head hangs heavy. Shoulders away from your ears. And then begin to just shift the weight towards your toes. This could mean rocking a little bit left and right to get more familiar before you bring the weight to the toes. Spin your thighs inwards to help you lift your hips. Deep breath in. Exhale and fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Release your grip. With your exhale, fold, bring your chin to your chest and slowly roll up. Use those hands up your legs for support anytime, all the time if needed. Okay, so we'll do a little step out. Usually, the last few weeks I've been teaching from the other side, so I'm going to teach from the left side, stepping out to the right today. All right, so I'm over at the left side of my mat, stepping out to the right. If you need to go the other direction, perfectly fine. Just keep, track of your left and your right. With your inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, kick out to the right. So step that right foot out like you're trying to purposefully land it down on the ground. So we're using some muscles and not just flopping our legs out. So arms out to a T shape, or hands to heart center, or hands to your hips. Begin to find some movement in the shoulders. If your arms are out, little circles like I'm doing is good too. If you prefer to move more through the shoulders, totally fine. Whatever you're doing, reverse the direction. Engage from the core, lift up from your chest. Deep breath in. With your exhale, hold there, begin to fold forward. Take your time in your fold. Start by bending the knees and swiveling the hips left to right for that inner thigh stretch. And then when it becomes more available, you have more range of motion, widen your stance, and maybe eventually you can lower one side down and then the other. Sometimes this is called Tadasana. Okay, come back to your center wherever you are. Grab one or two of those blocks. And just like we did in our fold earlier, set it up far enough in front of you so that when you are leaning forward with the weight in your toes, wrist, elbow, shoulders are lined up. Take the right hand and center it on your block. Engage your core. Inhale to twist, left arm up. If you choose to look up, make sure that your chin is not hanging out close to your left shoulder. Slide that left shoulder down your spine. You'll feel the chest twist. Right shoulder under. Strong from the legs. Deep breath in. Exhale, back to your fold. Into the other side, left hand grounds, weight towards the toes. Check in with your alignment. When you're ready, twist, send the right arm up. And it's okay if you have like a quarter twist. You got to start somewhere. And maybe that's where you stay. That's okay too. Muscles and ligaments can just change over time and they can say, this is where we stop. Important to listen. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, back to your fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Hands to your hips or arms out to a T shape. With your inhale, up, arms overhead. Bend your left knee, keep your core engaged. We're going to step that left foot over to the right foot on purpose and release the arms down by your sides. Back to your mountain pose. Inhale, arms reach up. This time with your exhale, just a little step out to your left. Lift up both of your feet so that you lift up just the toes and pivot both feet to the right. If you need to check in and make sure that your hips feel like they're okay, hands to the hips is a really good little hip test for that. And it's likely that you need to walk your right foot over just a couple little steps so that you can bring your left hip forward, weights in the heels. If the weight is not in the heels and you have maybe a back foot lifted up, then you need to shorten your stance a little bit. It's all good. All right, hands to the hips or reach the arms overhead, breathing in. With your exhale, twist open to your right, left arm forward, right arm back, or hands to the hips, hands to the heart center. You know your options by now, hopefully. Turning your neck to the right is an option in the pose. It may not be an option in your body. You might need more support with the right hand at the lower back. All good. Take a deep breath in, lift your chest. With the weight in your heels, use your exhale to twist. Right hand to your right hip, left arm reaches up. Breathe in. With your exhale, reach forward like you're pressing from the feet, lengthening up, reaching forward. Then bring your left hand down to something. For me, that's going to be bringing the left hand down to a block and flipping the block up to its highest level. And then from here, you can stay, you can fold over the right leg. Maybe that's better for your hips. If you like a twist, left shoulder under, right arm opens up, and you've done some variations with the arms here. So do what's best for you. Deep breath in, exhale, back to your fold. Maybe release the hands to the floor. Press the left hip a little forward. Press your hips up and back so you feel that pelvis tilt forward. The hip shifts up and back. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. Hands to your hips or palms together. Reach them out in front of you. Inhale up. Lift your feet. Pivot to your left twice. All right, check in with your hips. Make sure they're in place. My hips always surprise me by never being in the right place. So I always hip check. Deep breath in, arm variation of your choice. Exhale and twist, right arm forward, left arm back. So if you reach your left arm back and you kind of get stuck, and you start to bring the left arm open, you just kind of get stuck. Try reaching the arm up overhead and then backwards, or going the other way, reaching the arm down and back, right? Sometimes just opening up here is a place where we have so much inflexibility because of tightness in the shoulders and probably in the chest. So you could go under, you can go over, and still access the same stretch. Wherever you are, take a deep breath in. Exhale to twist. Left hand to your left hip, right arm reaches up, breathing in. With your exhale, keep that core engaged, heels grounded, reach forward. When you start to round, your back starts to bow, reach more forward, and then bring the upper body down. Right hand down to something. With your inhale, begin to twist. Left arm up. Weight is in the heels and the thighs are engaged. Deep breath in. Exhale, back to your fold. Maybe you can release both hands down to the floor. You can bend your knees to get there. You can also use blocks underneath your hands. And then hands to your hips or arms out in front of you. Inhale up. Lift your toes, pivot to your right. Right foot meets your left foot. Arms down by your sides. All right, we'll do a quick tree and then lower down to the ground for the rest of our practice. If you need some sort of stability for your tree is a little questionable today, no problem. Just make sure you have something around you to support you so that your tree feels less questionable, okay? Especially if you're in front of a lot of glass like I am. Ground your left foot down, lift your right heel, take your knee out to the right. This can be your tree pose. This is beautiful. If you want to work a little bit deeper, start lifting the toes up off of the floor. The heel stays connected to the inside of the left leg. That is consistent throughout this whole shape until you get to the knee. Then you want to bypass the heel onto the knee and bring it up towards the inner thigh. Okay, one or both hands to heart center. If you're like me, you're used to popping your hip out. Squeeze the left leg into the right foot. Press the right foot into the left leg. At the same time, the right knee is opening. The left hip is opening. Grounding from the left foot, lengthening from the torso, arm variation of your choice. No such thing as a wrong tree. Do whatever tree you want. Squeeze the left thigh. Lift up your chest, breathing in. With your exhale, slowly release back to your mountain pose. I like a stretch for my foot here, so I turn the left toes under, take it or leave it. For me, that's just a nice stretch, but I love to stretch my feet, so a little personal. Bring the right foot down, lift the left heel, take your knee out to your left. Start with the hips open to begin with, right? And then you don't have to come back to it later on. So slide the heel up, bypass the knee. It's okay to bend down and grab your foot, no problem. Some people don't have to. It's cool if you don't have to. Squeeze the right foot into the left, right thigh into the left foot, and vice versa. You want to feel that equal but opposite pressure going on. And if you had your hands at heart center, it would be the same thing too, not just hands at heart center, not just hanging out, but pressing the hands in to each other to lift the chest. Isometric hold. Ground from the right foot, lengthening up. Maybe you try a different arm variation, or maybe you just try looking up. Sometimes it's nice to try to throw yourself off, but make sure that you're in a situation where if you do throw yourself off, that it's not dangerous. With your exhale, come back down to your mountain pose. Inhale, arms reach up. Maybe you look up this time, a little back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. With your exhale, squat and curl, rounding your spine. With your inhale, look forward. And with your exhale, make your way down to your seat, however you want to get there. Once your feet are on the floor, you might like a block in between the knees to help you isolate your inner thigh muscles. Press from the big toes, reach the fingers forward, lift your chest, breathing in. With your exhale, lower back. Just a tiny bit of core work today. Bring the knees into your chest, give yourself a little squeeze. Heels up towards your ceiling, flex your feet. Engage the core like you're pressing the core down to the floor. Reach your fingers towards your toes. Lift your head off the floor. Hold it here or pulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, lift up and hold. Kick up from the heels, lift up 1 more inch, breathing in. Exhale, lower down, give yourself a hug. Bring your left foot down to the floor so the knee is pointing up. Send the right leg up overhead. Cross the right leg over your left leg. Make sure there's enough clearance here for this right ankle to rotate freely on the outside of your left thigh. Then lift your left leg up. If this is where you get stuck, you need to add something to lengthen your arms. So a block, strap, sometimes just an old towel will work. Hands behind the back of the left thigh. I place the right forearm on the right thigh for a little opposite pressure there. If that hurts your shoulders or your neck, do not do it. Tuck your chin and keep your shoulders down. Flex your feet with your inhale, left leg in. With your exhale, bring the shoulders down. Maybe you press the right elbow towards the right thigh. Inhale, left leg in. Slow breath out. Check in with your chin. Last one, inhale. Exhale. Left foot down, send the right leg up. Point, flex, take some circles. Take the hands behind the back of your right thigh. Avoid the whole knee area. So underneath the thigh, you could go hands to the calf as long as your shoulders don't lift. Flexing the foot, press down from the hip and kick up from your heel. And slowly use the weight of the hands on the back of the leg just to be a lever. If you have to bend the knee, it's no problem, but actively press your hip down. Bend your right knee, place your foot down, and we'll switch it out. Send your left leg up, cross it over the right. Make sure the left foot has enough room to move around so it's not stuck on the top of your right leg. Lift your right leg. This is my tight side, so I really could use something extra underneath my hands here, underneath my leg to give me some more space. Actually, I don't think I've ever used a pillow like this, and it's not terrible. Actually, probably feels good for people if you had a little knee issue that you probably prop it up towards your knee. So just learning in the moment. Flex both feet. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. Now you know little ways to add depth. You can use your inhale to bring the right leg in. And exhale to press the left one away. Take this last round of breath on your own. And release your right foot down. Send your left leg up. Flex, point, take circles. And bring the left, hands behind the back of the left leg. Remember to kick down from the hip. If you're a flexible person, this is kind of a struggle shape, right? Because you're used to lifting that hip up and maybe the leg can lift really far back. So isolating this movement with the hip down takes that range of motion away. It kind of makes you feel like it's a less successful stretch, but just work with it, please. Try it out. Tuck your chin, shoulders down, press down from the hip to kick up. So we're creating a little compression in the hip joint. And bring the left knee down. Squeeze the knees and the glutes in towards each other. Lift your tailbone, shift it towards the knees, and then bring your tailbone back down. Soles of the feet touch, knees open for Baddha Konasana, Supta, because we are laying down. I like things underneath the thighs here. Balance it out the best you can. This is a shape that you can be in for many minutes. In a restorative class, you could be in this shape 12 to 15 minutes, especially with support. So if you want to be here longer, please stay. When you're ready to move, press into the feet, squeeze the pelvic floor, draw the knees in towards each other. And again, squeeze the knees, squeeze the glutes, lift the tailbone, shift it towards the knees, and then bring it back down. It's kind of a great baby bridge, but we're not really there long enough to get any benefit of it, but it's really just to make sure that the spine is back in place for what's next. So knees into your chest, give yourself one last little hug. If you like happy baby, hands to your feet, knees down, tailbone down, you stretch from there. There could be something else that you like to do instead. When you're ready, we'll take time here in a short Shavasana. If you like longer Shavasana, then you just mute me and enjoy the rest of your practice. Otherwise, we'll be in this short resting shape. And we'll officially end class at our seats in just a moment, just a minute or two. But take time to settle, stay longer if your time allows. I'll let you know when it's time to move to your seat if you're with me. Close your eyes, relax your shoulders, your jaw. Relax your core muscles, your heels and your toes. And just scan your body to help yourself become more capable of resting. And take a deep breath in. And a slow breath out. Again, stay here longer if you like. When you're ready to move, wiggle your fingers and toes, maybe reach the arms overhead for a stretch. And when you're ready, I'll meet you at your seat. All right, sitting up tall, closing your eyes. Think of the principles of mountain pose from our first shape, engaging the core, pelvic floor up, ribs down to lift the chest. Take a deep breath in. And with force through your nose, exhale. Feel it in the back of your throat. Inhale, belly expands. Again, exhale through your nose. Last one, inhale. Exhale. Palms together, center of your chest. Take a moment to thank your body for what it's capable of today. And give yourself a compliment for taking time on yourself. Thank you all so much for joining me in Upadhyaya Yoga. Namaste. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. As always, you can reach out to us on social media or send us an email if you have any questions or anything you'd like to talk about. If it's class related, you can always put something in the chat and I'll check in at the end. If you're watching this pre-recorded, though, you would want to definitely send us a message through our website instead. All right. So thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you on Friday for our restorative version of this class, stretch and rest. Okay. Thank you. Bye.